Welcome back, everybody, to the first Abberant cast that we have done in a while. This is the Cast on Titan Abberant podcast, and I am here with Tom Andre. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Tom.
Hey, I'm Tom Andre. I'm the creator, director, writer, lots of
Genius
things.
behind.
I don't know about that, but I'm the creator behind the Slap on Titan, and we're coming out with season 2 here this coming March. Our first episode will premiere March 28th, and yeah, we're here just to talk about Titans and everything involving them.
And slapping them.
Slapping them.
Wet
slapping
fish.
them across the face.
Like with a glove, like if you take the, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Also with us are my other two co-hosts, Zach and Scotty. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi.
I guess that works too.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, there's chances are you've listened to the previous cast on Titan, which we have introduced ourselves already. So
right, which was
hopefully
a cast on Titan chapter 65. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start asking Tom a lot of questions, like a lightning round. Just bam, bam. Are you ready?
Oh man, I'm in the hot seat.
No,
it reminds me of church. They ask,
all right.
When they ask about all my sins, that's why they kick me out. But anyways, no, I'm kidding. Okay.
One cannot compete with the darkness of my soul.
Right.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and start with asking you about the first days of a Slap on Titan, like coming into it. Like, if you an origin story, right?
An origin story of a Slap on Titan. All right. Well, it really all started with back in 2013. Attack on Titan was coming out, and my friend Memos introduced me to it, and I was floored. It was an amazing anime, and I just absolutely loved it. And then we started finding these really funny videos just across the internet, stuff like what Shinigami here and Ku did, or same person, but what Ku was doing was just making these funny little shorts of the characters from Attack on Titan, but overdubbing them and just making them say all sorts of hilarious stuff. And I loved these videos, and I was watching them. I was thinking, man, wouldn't it be great if he did like a whole episode or something like that? And I tried to contact him, but unfortunately he was like really busy with school, and so he wasn't looking to do that. And so I started thinking, well, screw it, why don't I give it a shot? I'll do one episode and that'll be it. And that's not how it happened at all. I started writing with just a basic gist of a few ideas. I knew immediately that Armin had to be a sociopath. That was like my very first idea. Armin had to be crazy. So that was the first thing. The Titans needed to be absolutely ridiculous and just wild and crazy. And it started with those basic ideas, wrote out one episode, and started writing the second episode, and just had so much fun that I had to keep going.
Awesome. So you've been working on season 2, right?
Yeah.
Looking back at season 1, what would you say were some of your best memories from working on it?
Oh, gosh. Oh, God. Well,
okay, give me I don't know, 3.
Okay, shit. Sarge's epic rant was probably one of the most fun times. Just having my friend Casey voice Sarge, and just doing this entire monologue where he literally just talked shit on the cadets of the 104th the entire time, and just absolutely talking crap about them constantly and just berating them. That was a lot of fun to see that come together, and recording that was a blast. Our premiere was incredible. Premiere night was awesome. We rented out a theater, and we invited a whole bunch of people, and we had a packed theater full of people, and showed it on the big screen, and showed the first 3 episodes. Yeah, and it was awesome. Like, they even had a Slap on Titan on the marquee and everything. It was really cool to see. So having all your friends there in the audience and just laughing at some crazy thing that you put together, it's a really great feeling. And what else? I think that final night when I uploaded the final episode of season 1, it was just such a relief that this whole process, like, it had started as just a funny what-if idea, you know, and over the course of 10 months, it snowballed into this huge thing, and it became literally this passion project. It's like a labor of love, really, and I've never worked as hard on anything as I did for season 1, and it was just so much fun and so enjoyable. Really hard, but at the same time, it was so great to finally cross that finish line and come out with a full season. So yeah.
It paid off for sure.
Thanks. It was so. It's been so rewarding just to see people, even to this day, commenting on it, just laughing their asses off about the crazy things going down in it. It's really awesome. So yeah.
I still maintain that my favorite scene is probably the "You will be the next Adolf Hitler."
Where Armin.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw it, I was just like, "This is amazing," and I rewatched the episode like 3 times just in that one day, because it was so hilarious.
For the best of their knowledge, Adolf Hitler was just a cartographer. He was just a world explorer. He might have been conquering lands, you know, but they don't know that. So
I think just the way you nailed it with Mein Kampf, that just sealed the deal. Jesus Christ, they just went there.
Yeah, episode 5 is where Armin just really takes a really, really dark turn. I mean, he's been dark the entire time, but oh my God, he discusses his plans for med school. He discusses, you know, his books that he's been reading, his role models. You really start to see that this is a kid who has a lot of problems and a lot of issues.
That's one understatement.
Yeah, that is the understatement of the year. Fighting an Armin scene is always like so much fun because it's just an exercise that, okay, how messed up can I make this? It's really fun. So.
I think something most people appreciate and notice the most of is all the little details, like you pointed out, like the Mein Kampf thing. Or my favorite thing from Armin was that original first episode he was introduced in, where he goes, "My Greek historical tomes," or something like that.
Yeah.
It's the little things like that I love personally.
Awesome.
Gandhi, the god of war.
Right.
Was that a Civilization reference, by the way?
It actually wasn't. What that came from was a very good friend of mine, Jamie, for his 21st birthday, decided to be responsible and get completely plastered. And
of course.
And we decided to start writing down some of the things he said. And it turned into a hilarious night where I still have the list laying around here. He started asking if you could get an STD from having sex with a polar bear, and just like really obscure, weird questions. And then all of a sudden, like we thought he was kind of like just starting to, you know, just get tired. Up. Yeah. And you know, he was getting real quiet and everything. And then all of a sudden, he bolts off out of the couch, stands up, like his chest is puffed out and everything. His eyes are widening. Just looks at us and he says, "Gandhi, the god of war." Everyone just burst out laughing, and that was, from that moment on, Gandhi has been the god of war in my book, and, you know, he forever will be. And then I started playing Civilization, and he totally is the god of war in that, so it's really hilarious when he just says that your race needs to be crushed and annihilated. I'm like, damn, Gandhi, that's kind of extreme there, you know? You might want to chill out. Like, making this show has been just so much ridiculous fun. And I wanted to throw in, like, what you were saying about these little things. I wanted to throw in as many of those little things as I could. Obscure little fucking things that you know, maybe not everyone's going to get them, but the people that do are just gonna really enjoy it.
Well, there was one joke that I just got yesterday. Like, I was just thinking about the argument between Vermin and Armin, and I just realized, wait, you wouldn't know this because you're a virgin, but casualties are my favorite form. That's what he meant!
Yes.
Because you're just so good, you have multiple layers of humor written in.
Well, I really wanted to make the characters as fleshed out as possible. one of the things I approached it when writing it was I wanted to create some awesome characters for this parody. Like I wanted these characters to be like really fleshed out, and just all of them have horrific flaws and things wrong with them, and just every single one of them has some quirk, some flaw that just completely debilitates them as and that's life inside the walls and in the Slap on Titan. It's a bunch of really terrible people trapped inside these walls
with horrible things happening around them constantly.
Oh yeah. And I gotta say that I think as far as like writing a parody of an anime goes, that doing a parody of a dark anime is so much more rewarding than if I tried to do a parody of an anime that already is lighthearted and happy. I do have to say that like parodying a darker anime is a lot more fun, and there's a lot more opportunities just because dark shit's going down that normally it happened in real life, people would be freaking out and losing their minds. And in the animes, usually they are losing their minds. But when you overdub them, you can make them say like, stuff like, oh, it's too bad that Fred's gone, but I really wish I had a hamburger right now. Or just something really obscure and random, and just, it provides a little twist, it turns that screw a little bit more.
So to keep going down that road, I want to revisit a topic we talked about before, the last time we talked, which was some of the challenges you've had writing for the show. Like, I know we talked about the scene with Eren and Mikasa, and the scene where her parents get killed. Like that episode, we talked about how tough that was.
Yeah, I remember I was sitting back there and like I had gone through 5 episodes by that point. I was constantly watching those episodes and rewatching them, just writing out whatever I could to just make light of it. And all these dark things are going down. And then episode 6 got, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm just like, okay, fuck this. I'm not gonna try to make this shit funny. I'm just gonna point it out what it is, and the sheer horribleness of the situation will make it funny itself. Just by pointing out just how horrible and messed up this anime is.
That's really satire at the base level of it, isn't it? Though.
Well, I would not claim to be any professor of satire or anything. I just put in voices over characters and make them say horrible messed up shit. But yeah, I would agree with you.
So as far as it goes, then, like when we talk about you writing these things for these characters, is that like is that an example of the hardest thing that you had to figure out something to do with, or like what's the hardest sort of like who's like if you have a character that's hard to write for, or like a scenario otherwise, or like a piece of dialogue that was hard to write for, anything like that?
Certain scenarios are pretty hard to write for. Episode 9 was probably the hardest episode for me to write. A lot of that was that I felt this huge pressure to do Levi right. I couldn't half-ass him. He had to be done correctly, because I mean it's Levi. It's everyone's crazy about him, and that was kind of a stressful thing thinking back on it. And I went through a lot of like rewrites and drafts of, okay, maybe he does this, maybe he does that. Also, I just couldn't find that much material in episode 9 to really make light of. For some reason, we had Connie and Krista and Ymir talking, and Hani's on the wall, and then a really long scene with Eren and the commander shouting back at each other. And with that scene, Eren and the commander, that was all right, but the other scenes where people are just talking at each other, I had to find some way to twist that, something messed up that they're talking about, or something, some odd way to take it so that it brings humor to the scene.
So you made it the lesbian orgy.
Yes. And Connie trying to pursue his dreams of being a midget stripper at their lesbian orgy. Which, by the way,
Scotty.
By the way, that subplot will continue.
Oh my God!
2.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Oh yeah, we're going to see just how well that turns out for them. But Connie's going to be kicking something off.
Oh.
In that scene, I'm very, very
excited
for
this season.
Like it's gonna be. We actually are going to have to spend an entire day of recording just to for that one scene alone. And that'll make sense later on down the line, but it's going to be pretty epic. So
going back to talking about Levi, because it was such a challenge, like looking back on it now that you've done it, like do you feel more confident about Levi going into the second season now that you've kind of established him a little bit? Like established what you want for him, you know?
Yes, I do feel quite a bit more confident now going in with Levi. I feel more confident with the voice. Levi was just something that I was honestly, up until the point when episode 9 dropped, I was honestly kind of terrified to see how people were going to react to him because I have to say, Archer was a huge influence on Levi's character. Like, just a complete douchebag who's just obsessed with himself and just obsessed with his skill and just, you know, is just couldn't care less about anyone else below him. So I wanted to kind of really get that kind of vibe going with him. And I wasn't sure if that was going to translate well at all, if people were just going to be turned off by him being a complete asshole. But yeah, now that I've seen people's reactions, I feel pretty confident for season 2, and I think people are gonna like.
I definitely know that my favorite scene from the trailer you released was, Aaron, I will get to your mother's I will get to your basement. And I will wear your mother's panties on my head.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Aaron's going to be in for some surprises when he meets his heroes. Let's just say. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I cannot wait to see what you do with Hanji.
Oh my God, Hanji's gonna be so much fun.
I think we're all just excited, you know, in general, just to see how it goes from here, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, it's been so much fun to just anytime I'm working on it, it's really just a blast. I mean, it's so much work. It's hours upon hours of work. Each episode itself is somewhere around like anywhere from 80 to 100 hours of editing straight. Just
Jesus.
Oh yeah, it gets insane. But I got to be honest, like at the end of the day, it's worth it to me because I end up laughing my ass off most of those times, like most of those hours, and I get to see people laugh their asses off too. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Now I just need to get help editing, and my life will be all right. You know. So, but yeah.
Awesome. And as far as that goes, I know the behind-the-scenes video was a pretty big hit. A lot of people like the behind-the-scenes stuff.
That's great, man.
As far as season 2 goes, like, do you have any sort of stories, or do you have any, like, impressions about how much fun or how much, like, you know, awesome stuff is going on behind the scenes? Like, how much of a good time you guys are having?
Like, I gotta say, dude, like, everyone in the cast, we're all friends with each other. It's literally a cast of friends. So
for now,
for now, until the rivalries tear us all apart. But literally, inevitable. Like we inevitable. But it's so much fun every time we just meet up, and we don't really take it entirely, you know. Well, we do take it very seriously when it comes to recording, but as far as like the whole show itself, we do it very relaxed and we have fun with it, and it's just a blast to do. So every time we meet up, it's behind the scenes. It's just an amazing time, and already this season, one of the funniest things that's ever happened while recording just went down like last month, and I can't say what exactly it was. One day I will be at liberty to, but it was one of the funniest things that has happened in my life, and it is on camera. It is on film.
Oh shit! I can't wait now. I'm so excited.
It might be a while before it can be released.
Right.
But I very much hope so that one day it can be shown.
Awesome.
So it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So yeah. Behind the scenes, it's just always a blast, and we're going to do a lot more of that for season 2.
Awesome.
Did I see you say that there are going to be some behind the scenes for season 1 coming out here soon?
There's a bit more footage that I do want to release, so I'm going to be editing some of that down here and trying to release that out. So yeah, there should be more. Also, I'm working on a lost audio and like deleted scenes video. There wasn't too many deleted scenes. I kept most of what we saw in there, but there was a lot of audio that I ended up not using for one reason or another. And a lot of it's really funny shit. So I'm going to throw it in there. And let's just say that the Colossal Titan talked a lot of shit, and we couldn't include it all. We couldn't include it all for timing, but yeah, you'll get to hear him talk more shit to Aaron. So
pretty good. Do you want to talk about the change in release schedule since the last time we talked about it?
Yeah. There may be some questions about that. Really what it comes down to is keeping me alive. It's like, and I am not kidding about that at all. Because when I set off on season 1 and I was, putting it out, I had this crazy wild dream that I wanted to put out a new episode every week, and keep it as like high quality and top of the line production that I could, and that was a horrible idea. That was just a terrible idea. But unfortunately, I had to kind of stick to it once I committed to it, because I had I was going overseas to see family for like a month starting in June. And so that gave me roughly 10 weeks to get the episodes out. So I didn't sleep, basically. I literally, those 10 weeks were the hardest weeks of my life, because I was just dead set on getting the season out. It really just, it was kind of like an obsession, really. Like, I had to do it. And a lot of it was I feel like I wanted to prove it to myself, that I could do it. And I did, but at the same time, I wrecked my body trying to do that. Like, it was completely unhealthy. I wasn't sleeping at all. I was spending 50 to 60 hours a week editing, and that's on top of working a job. It just got ridiculous. It was totally unfeasible, and yeah, I don't want to go back through that. So that's
good call.
But also a big part of it is when I was on that kind of crazy release schedule, I had to make compromises sometimes that I really wish I hadn't have had to make. Like episode 10, a lot of people love episode 10, but it could have been better. It really could have, and I feel bad that I wasn't able to polish it as long as it really needed to. I wanted to make it as great as possible, and it turned out pretty good. But I at the end of the day, I want to give people the best possible comedy that I can create, and so doing it on a release schedule of about once every 3 weeks is going to be much more realistic, much more better, and result in a much more polished, clean, good show.
Plus, you get to stay sane.
Yeah, plus I get to sleep. Yeah, that's a big one too. So.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. Him going insane might be good for Armin.
Armin. But I mean, everything else, like, I think if I became that insane, like, all the characters would turn into Armin at that point, and it would just be
Is that a bad thing?
Like,
yes, too much Armin is a bad thing.
Too much Armin is a bad thing, for sure, like.
See, Armin's like cocaine. You can only do so much.
Yeah, you have to have him in his quantities, like, because if it was just Armin only, it'd be overwhelming, really. Like, he's just such a dark influence. He's such a horrible little monster.
Like, when you do Armin, do you actually have to, like, make the stance and, like, get into a position and get into character with him? Like, is it a assume the pose type of thing with him?
Not so much. For some reason, like, once I start doing the voice, I can just sink into it really quick, and then all of a sudden I'm talking like this, and I have a plan of complete world domination. I just want to murder and kill. And, it's literally just changing my voice to that and just talking as this crazy, demonic little child. And I don't really have to adopt a pose or anything like that, but a character that I do have to really, really try to get in the mindset of is Levi. Levi, by far, was the hardest character for me to do, and still is very much the hardest character. So
all around, it sort of seems like Levi is probably the most difficult.
Levi is one of the most challenging aspects of making this parody series, because I want him to be badass, but I also want him to be a douchebag kind of. So I want people to like him, but people also to hate him. It's a very conflicting. It's a very fine line to walk, shall we say? So yeah, Levi is where it gets tricky. But I usually adopt kind of like a cowboy pose when I'm doing Levi. And,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, shoulders back.
Man, is that foreshadowing?
Legs spread wide.
Oh.
Oh. I know what you
Manga readers will understand this.
Manga readers will get that. Oh man, anime watchers, you're in for a treat. But yeah, it's I cannot wait to tell you what I have planned for that scene. God, well, I'm not going to tell you. I cannot wait to show you what I have once it comes out. So yeah, Levi is the one character that I definitely do have to get into a pose for, I would say.
We talked about how hard the editing process is, and he said you spend hours upon hours a week.
Insane. It really is insane. So much work goes into this show.
I was going to ask about the cast. You said that the cast is made up of all your friends. Is it actually did you just grab people from your circle, or did you actually find people who were interested in that type of thing?
I literally just grabbed people from my circle, and we ended up having a production meeting where I just created a Facebook event one day. I was like, I have something really hilarious that I want to show you all, and I want you all to be a part of it. It's something that means a lot to me, and I think you guys are going to really love it. And ended up having a production meeting with 12 of some really good friends of mine, and these were friends from all walks of life. A lot of them hadn't met each other before. This was the first time they'd ever gotten together, but everyone just immediately clicked. Everyone just immediately got along with each other, and just it was kind of magical. Moments like that happen where it's just wow, everything just came together and it worked. And I'm not used to moments like that. I'm used to moments where shit just gets fucked up. But this was awesome. Everything just came together. Everyone clicked. Everyone had fun. We all laughed our asses off at that first production meeting, and it went on from there. And now, a year later, we're all really good friends. And
the stars aligned.
it really felt like that. Yeah. It's kind of crazy that I just happened to have these talented voice actors in my friends. We had never done voice acting before, but they just happened to really rock it. So yeah.
So, were they familiar with Attack on Titan, or did you have to introduce them to it?
Most of them had no idea what it was.
Oh, wow.
So now they're very well aware. But yeah. So there was no way there was no way they were going to get out of this unscathed, not knowing about Attack.
So for your background, did you start with the anime, or did you start with the manga?
Started completely with the anime, and then I got into the manga. I actually had been anime only for quite a while until the show started. The show was pretty much ready for us to start putting out, and then I realized that I'm gonna have to very quickly become manga because there's no point in trying to even pretend I wasn't going to get spoiled in the comments of YouTube.
Oh yeah,
from people commenting on the videos.
That's a good decision.
Yeah, I had to make sure I was a step ahead of it, and I also didn't want people spoiling it for other people. So I needed to be able to recognize what was people being a troll and spoiling in the comments. So yeah, I started reading the manga and been reading it ever since. I had to basically marathon it the second I started reading it, and now I'm a hardcore manga lover, and it's awesome.
So, Scotty or Zach, did you guys have any particular questions for Tom?
You took all my questions, buddy.
Did I? Good.
Okay.
You did.
So, now that we've addressed a lot of the base level questions, we prepared over at the subreddit, the R Shingeki no Kyojin subreddit, a list of questions for Tom from the users, the Redditors.
Oh god, I thought that was the list.
No, that wasn't the list.
There is another.
We haven't even touched this list yet.
All right, let's hear it.
So I will read the questions off to you, and we'll go from there.
Cool.
First question is, Tom, I love a Slap on Titan. Were there cases where you almost went in a very different direction with your parody or of any particular character? Or did you always have a clear idea of what you wanted to do with everyone?
The only character I had a clear idea of what I wanted to do with was Armin. From the very start, I knew Armin had to be a psycho. Let me see. At the very beginning, I was kind of toying with the idea of taking it in a very different direction, and not making the characters curse anywhere near as often, or use foul language of any sort, really anywhere near as often, because when you restrict the usage of it, you can create really funny situations when someone does actually use foul language. But then I was just looking at the writing out of it, and I was like, these people are getting eaten by titans. They're getting eaten alive. They're going to be cursing their asses off. Like, it doesn't fit for the show for them to be, uptight about what language they use. So that was one decision I made very early on. Like, no, we're going complete, pedal to the metal. Like, it's going to be complete out there batshit insanity, and yeah, and we went there. So.
Great choice.
Thanks. It seems to have paid off really well. So.
Definitely.
The next question needs a little bit of context. On the subreddit, there is a group of people who all are fans of Ymir. They are very passionate fans of Ymir, and they would like to ask, Tom, would you like to join the followers of the Freckled Goddess?
Be very careful with this answer, Tom.
Yeah, that's
very careful.
I'm treading on some very dangerous territory here.
They are vicious.
I will consider it.
Would you like to join a cult, essentially?
Basically.
Is that up your alley?
I will take it into consideration. That's all I can offer at this time.
You know what? Let me shoulder that for you. I will play the middleman, and whenever you reach a decision, you let me know so that I can.
Yeah, whenever I reach a decision, I'll let Stiller know, and he can announce it to the rest of the community.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Okay.
I knew that one was going to be a little out there. All right.
I tried that one. All right, bring them on.
Yeah, just get started here.
All right, yeah, bring them on.
Next question. What was the first idea you had that you wanted to put into a Slap on Titan?
Armin being a sociopath.
Okay. And the second part to that is, what was the hardest scene to write?
One of the hardest scenes to write would actually end up being the very end of episode 7, when Connie, Mikasa, and Armin are on the rooftop and they're having an argument amongst themselves. And it actually ended up turning into one of the best moments in the series.
Yep.
Like, it's basically all their horny tensions are just boiling over. They're teenagers who have been put through hell, and at the same time, they're teenagers, so, they have all these feelings and everything. It's just all coming to the forefront, and it's bubbling over, and they're all just melting down. And I wanted to do that scene right. It was a fine line I had to walk with that, and it was a long scene. But it turned out really well, and I was really happy with the time that I spent trying to write that. Yeah.
I think one of the most quoted things I've seen on the subreddit is, I'm a boiling cauldron of sexual needs and desires right now.
That line was so much fun to record.
That was the same discussion as I want a wool sock, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, Armin.
Was that a Harry Potter reference?
No, not quite, but I mean, it could have very well been born out of some subconscious memory of Harry Potter, for sure. Because, dude, I read all the books as a kid. I was all into my Harry Potter, so yeah, I've read all the books, but
now I'm imagining some random person just walking in off the street while you're shouting, I am a boiling cauldron of sexual needs and desires right now.
I think that they would be very, very happy with their life choices and where their life
to lead them
of having gotten into the situation with you.
Yep. That's how they gain their confidence, and they know that they're making the right choices.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's how I gained my confidence. So, yeah.
Normal.
The next question is, so, Tom, how is that Mikasa and Levi meeting gonna go in the forest?
That is a maniacal laugh. Whoa!
Oh, you have no idea what's coming. That's all I can say.
Just given the trailer we've seen, I'm going to guess it's going to be him hitting on her and her rejecting him.
Well, I mean, I have to say, I love Mikasa in the parody, and which is the exact opposite of my actual opinion of Mikasa. So that plus Levi being like as difficult as he is, I'm pretty stoked.
Oh, I'm pretty stoked to do that scene. It's going to be so much fun to edit that. Oh, man. I can't wait. Yeah, and good things are on the horizon. Don't worry.
Alright, it's awesome. Next question is, let me rephrase it a little bit. Let's say, have you thought about any post-Slap on Titan activities?
Yeah, yes, for sure. And all I can really say on that right now is that a Slap on Titan is just the beginning. There's going to be so much more to come, and I really want to just start doing this full time, and I wanna at least finish out Attack on Titan. I wanna for sure make sure that we cover all of that. So Attack on Titan, that's gonna be what we do for now. After that, I'm not really sure as far as like a bridge series wise. There have been a few ideas I've been tossing around in the back of my head, but I can't quite say which ones they would be just yet. I wouldn't want to spoil that if we did end up going down that route. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do another abridged series, or, well, parody series, but for anime specifically, after Slap on Titan, but we'll see. What I will say is that there's a lot more coming down the road, and that has already been written out, and that is already planned, and it's not anime parodies necessarily, but it's the same style of humor, same style of comedy, and like I said, the Slap on Titan is just the beginning of things coming down the pipeline for us, so, yeah.
Beautiful.
Awesome. So the second half of that question was just more background information. Tom, what are your 3 favorite animes?
3 favorite animes. All right. Obviously Attack on Titan.
You'd be crucified if that wasn't the number one answer.
Yeah. There's a reason why
I hate Attack on Titan. It's the worst.
If you're gonna
I used to like it, but then I started doing this series.
And now I hate it.
If you're gonna overdub any anime, make sure that you love it, because you're gonna be very well familiar with every goddamn frame of every goddamn second. So make sure it's something that you love when you do it. Let's see, Attack on Titan for sure. The other 2 spots they have to go to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Death Note.
Yeah.
Death Note, yes.
I gotta give it to it. Like, I was kind of a little disappointed with the second half of Death Note, but the first half hooked me in like no anime has ever before.
Agreed.
I was just,
I'm satisfied with that
already.
But the next question is, do you find that writing comedy material based on the show brings you closer to the actual source material in any way?
Sometimes yes and sometimes no, depending on what I'm trying to do with the scene, and it can really be variable, and I hate to give that answer, but like sometimes I have to play it pretty close to what's going on in the show, certain events going down, like there's only so many ways I can spin someone trying to strip gear off of a dead corpse while Titan's trying to eat them. Like, there's some moments where I have to stick pretty close to the show, but in moments, especially in like dialogue heavy scenes, I have freedom to really just to go all free. Over the board. Yeah, and those are some of the most fun scenes for sure. Not to say like I really enjoy action scenes. That's more of a fun thing in post when I'm editing and like putting all the sound effects and all, trying to make the battle seem real and visceral and like it's actually happening as you're watching it. Whereas writing wise, I prefer dialogue heavy scenes. It's more of a creative process for the dialogue heavy scenes, shall we say.
Next question is, do you have an example of a moment or scene from the anime you feel like you appreciate better looking at it through the comedy lens? Was there something that like clicked for you when you were looking at something like to write about, you know?
Well, the one thing that clicked more than anything else was the Armin incarnate scene. Like, I knew that I had to get to episode 10 at least. Like, once I started writing out like the first 3 episodes, I was thinking, okay, well, where am I going to cut this off? Like, where do I end this for the first season? And then I looked ahead to episode 10 with Armin just screaming at the commander, and I was like, okay, that's it. Like, that's where we're ending the season, because that I can twist that in so many horrible ways. And
that is sufficiently fucked for me.
yeah. That was my end goal for pretty much most of the season, was getting to that scene, and it was so much fun to make that. And yeah, I really appreciate that scene because it just, everything clicked as far as comedy-wise for me, seeing that.
Okay, next question is another future plan here. Is there any intention for season 2 to have more behind-the-scenes material?
Yes, very much so, yeah. Like a lot more down coming for that.
And we also talked, I think, earlier about season 1 still having a little bit of extra stuff, right?
Yes, there's a little bit more extra stuff for season 1. Not too much, but a little bit.
So the next question is, how do you intend to portray the female Titan and Titan battles? So basically, the first one is, how do you intend to work with the female Titan? The second one is the Titan battles, which is, I'm assuming, the female Titan and Eren Titan.
Let's just say that there is a reason you didn't hear anything from the female Titan in the trailer. I don't want to spoil some things just yet. And I cannot spoil what is going down with the female Titan or her battles with her battles coming up here in the anime. I really want to tell you guys, you're gonna love it when it happens.
I can't wait.
You're gonna be happy to see her get her comeuppance, shall we say.
I had like the weirdest reaction. I mean, it feels weird to me, to the series where my favorite character is Annie, but in the parody she wasn't up there for me, right?
Annie was kind of a hard character to write because I wasn't sure how to write her, but
so you let Reiner write her.
Well, Reiner tried, but he didn't get very far.
Oh, I didn't even think about that connotation.
But yeah, it just it was a hard character to write for sure. But in this season, I know exactly where I'm going with her. And
I mean, I just intend to say that like my expectations were changed so much just because like my predispositions to these characters like flipped upside down just because of the way it turned out.
They're very different in some ways, in many ways.
I can't wait to find out the thing that you're specifically thinking about right now.
Oh yeah, dude. I wish I could tell you, but no, I can't. There's some things I can't spoil.
So, was there any parts in the show or the manga, if you were reading it, that gave you great sadness or excitement or some other high emotion?
Are we talking about for season 2 only?
Well, this is asking about like you reading the manga or watching the show, and like what plot point like did you react the strongest to?
So Attack on Titan in general. Yeah. How did this make you feel?
Just as a viewer,
right,
or a reader. Let me think.
We're getting therapist-y up in here.
Yeah. Probably the most cathartic moment in the series for me came with the victory in Trost. Because that came after so much darkness. Like, in a series where people were just getting killed left and right and people were dropping like flies, and it seemed like, you know, the Titans were always advancing and there was no hope whatsoever. And it literally felt like the most hopeless scenario ever watching it for the first time in the anime. And then actually seeing them succeed for once against the Titans was just awesome. Like, taking back the city, so cool to see. And I just wish it hadn't taken an entire episode of, you know, them trying to convince Eren to wake up. But
Pacing is really bad in that anime.
The pacing can be really off with it, which becomes interesting when you're trying to parody it. But yeah, that was probably the most cathartic moment when he finally got off his ass and took the boulder over to the gate and smashed it down. That was really awesome for me. So I would say that was probably my favorite moment watching the series.
All right, next question, which I saw that someone already asked you before we got to, which I was a little disappointed by. The next question is, will you be doing the OVAs? I saw someone got to you with this like before we could, so I was a little bummed.
Let's just say Sarge is in that trailer for a reason. And
got it.
Take what you will from that.
Yeah.
The answer is yes, because that was a scene from 2.
I will neither confirm nor deny, but that scene is in the trailer for a reason.
Next question is there going to be any bromance between Aaron and Levi?
Oh, God.
Okay, I know that's like a huge section of the fandom. That's a huge section of the fandom, and I get hit up sometimes asking if we're going to incorporate like certain relationships one way or another. Levi and Aaron will not be attracted to each other in any romantic way. I can say that. But no, there aren't any relationships or anything that we're really establishing, except for one that's coming up this season, and that is something that I guarantee you no one has shipped before, for a very good reason. There will be one blossoming love relationship that happens in season.
Calling it Aaron Hanji.
I cannot confirm or deny anything. All I can confirm is that I'm certain no one has shipped.
Oh, interesting.
So
very interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be eye-opening for sure. So yes. Levi will have a lot of fun with Aaron though. I can say, because I mean, after all, his last name is Jaeger. So
what's that supposed to mean?
Are you trying to say something?
You did hear Levi shout Jaeger bomb as kind of a battle cry in the trailer. So he might really find certain aspects of Aaron's name, personality, and background a lot of fun to make fun of, basically.
Got it. I think we've I think we got it.
Very subtle. Wink, wink.
Nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
And on to the last question that I am comfortable with asking.
A lot of them got deleted.
Right. Okay. The question is, whose idea was it to make the Titan voices as they are?
That was my idea originally, and that's been something that is definitely one of the more controversial aspects of the show, and I understand it. Basically, growing up, I was heavily influenced by comedians like Dave Chappelle, Aaron McGruder, creator of the Boondocks. That was what I did, and so I wanted to kind of integrate some of the humor, especially like what I had seen in the Boondocks and what This is one of the lesser known facts about me, but in a phase of my life, I was actually the reigning battle rap champ at my high school, and that
all right.
Yes, I never lost. But yeah, like I was kind of in that culture for a while, for a long while, and so it's part of, everyone was always trying to put on these airs like, they were the shit, and at the end of the day, everyone was just teenagers, just trying to figure out who they were, and I kind of have an association with that culture because of my experience back in the day doing that, and so I had to bring some reference to it, and it has been one of the more controversial parts of it, but at the same time, like, we are a cast we're a completely multicultural cast that looks over everything we do beforehand. And if it's if it's something that we feel is, too much, we won't do it. But we're pretty happy with how it's going, and we're going to continue being as crazy and offensive as possible, and just out there and batshit insane as possible. And yeah, it's just going to keep on continuing, and we'll have fun with it.
I want to piggyback off of that question a little bit.
I'll answer both your questions.
Okay.
Please, you could both have a piece of me.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, as far as ideas go in general, just not like specific to that instance, are you creating most of the ideas through the writing process, or have you had like sort of an improv effect or like a pitch-in idea type of effect with some of your castmates or anything like that?
Season 1 was pretty much all me, as far as like writing wise. I did collaborate on some scenes with Memos, my friend that I mentioned earlier, but season 1 was pretty much all me. For the second season, I tried this experiment where every week we would have these things called writing days, where we would watch 3 episodes of the anime that we were going to be covering for the second season, and we would just sit back, drink beers, and make fun of the anime like while it was playing, and have it on like volume 0, so we can't understand what's going on or what the characters are saying to each other, so we have to kind of put in our own voices on the fly. And that turned out really cool. It gave a lot of really cool ideas. I've been incorporating some of that improv stuff with the writing that I have done for season 2. So, yeah, it's kind of been a mixture of both for season 2.
Awesome. Scotty, go ahead with your question.
Okay, so, Chance, I don't think you're going to do this, and you don't have to. But
Dan, we're off to a rocky start already.
You said you were the rapping champion.
Oh, no.
Oh, God damn it.
No.
At your school. I want to hear you
here right now. I will give you the track, okay? And you can guarantee there's a reason I asked people if they wanted to see Armin battle rapping the Colossal Titan.
Okay, now I do.
Yeah. Don't worry, there are plans. but yeah, you'll get to see it eventually. Like, oh yeah, I was crazy into that scene. It was one hell of an experience. But yeah, it was a great time in my life for sure. And yeah, I wouldn't take it back for anything. It was so much fun. I still have friends to this day from that experience and doing that in high school. You'll definitely get to hear a little bit here in the future, though, for sure.
All right, cool.
And we might be. I'm gonna be getting KJ, who voices the Colossal Titan. Like he's very much into that scene. Like he's released several tracks of his own, and he's on several CDs, and so we're gonna get him in there, and it's just gonna be me and him just rapping against each other, and it's gonna be so much fun. But we're gonna be doing it in our character voices, and yeah, it's gonna be really fun. So you can rest assured that some fun stuff is on the horizon.
Is there anything else in particular that you can tease a little bit? Anything that you want to tease, or anything sort of, anything that's gnawing at you to get out there?
I'm pretty careful usually with what I choose to reveal and not reveal. And with the trailer, I teased pretty much everything that I wanted to so far. There are things that I want to keep a surprise. Awesome. But the trial of Eren Yeager is going to be batshit insanity. And I
think we all knew that.
Yeah. I cannot wait for that episode. It may very well be the highlight of the series. Going to be fantastic.
I think we're good on prying.
Yeah, you're good on prying.
Okay, Slap on Titan Season 2 comes out March 28th. First episode is going to premiere that day, and we're going to be releasing episodes every 3 weeks after that. And yeah, it'll be a 15-episode marathon coming out, and should tide you over hopefully until pretty close to season 2 of the anime.
Hopefully.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and I absolutely can't wait to put it on and see what you guys think and see what everyone thinks, really.
Well, Tom, it has been very awesome to have you on. I had a blast having you on.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you want to come back.
Dude, I'd love to.
You are welcome.
just let me know anytime, man. I'll do this anytime.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Whenever you want to come back, we would love to have you. It was a great time.
For sure, man. Just let me know, and it's been a pleasure. It's been such a blast, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you for being on.
Absolutely.
And I think with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and call this a wrap. You should be seeing stuff visually on the video for where to find the Slap on Titan channel. That stuff will also be in the description as well as the video. And
that's assuming there's anyone that's not already heard of it.
Yeah, that too. But in the video and in the description, there will be links to the teaser, so people can go watch that. I'm going to put that there, and you guys should go subscribe to him and watch all his stuff like 1,000 times each.
At least. At the very minimum.
At least. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you guys next month on the next podcast. If you want to hear more from us, you're on our channel. You can find more videos from us, and we do podcasts like this monthly, sometimes with guests, sometimes without, and we are all about the manga. So thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you guys next month.
Bye.
Guys.